Hey you! Yes, you. Are you in any way, shape, or form familiar with the concept of J-pop idols? Whether the answer is yes or no, if you want to learn more about them, you've come to the right place. Heyo! I'm CY8ER, and I make videos about idols and just about any other thing that interests me in the nerdy pop culture sphere, such as anime, manga, J-fashion, blah 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 blah. I started this channel mainly with the intent of doing covers, but I have since decided to pivot to video essays, since I like to yap about the things I like and would like to share my knowledge with anyone who might be interested. Or not. Either way, you will listen. As said in the intro, I really like J-pop idols. It's been my main interest for the past 4 years now, and when I really like something, I go deep. And I know about a lot of groups that many people might not know and that I believe should be shared with the world. And I know so much about idols that I once joked that if I were a professor, I would teach a class called Idol-ogy, the study of idols, if you will. So then came the idea for this series. Lessons in Idol-ogy is a video series I will be making, and each episode covers the history and music of idol groups ranging from mainstream to underground. And there will also be videos here and there talking about general things within the idol industry as a whole. So if that's something you're interested, or you would like to see a potential feature video about a group or soloist you like, write in the comments your suggestions and I'll look through them and see what I can do. I'm not making any promises, but I'll keep them in mind. Now without further ado, the topic of this video. Since this is a new series, I wanted the first episode to be special. Start off with a bang, you know? So I thought, why not talk about one of the first groups I really fell in love with and that kicked off my J-pop idol frenzy. CY8ER was a Japanese idol group that debuted in 2015, sorta. I'll explain that in a bit. They were described as a new age vocal and DJ unit. CY8ER's aesthetic and musical identity are clearly advertised in their name. Their music is very electronic, very kawaii. To be more specific, they mainly specialized in the music genres of kawaii feature bass and drum and bass. Their visual aesthetic is all things futurism with frequent motifs of LED cities, technology, funky graphics, and animations in saturated colors, flashing lights, and an abundance of green screen, all wrapped in a dreamy atmosphere, reminiscent of the future we have always dreamed of, but are yet to see. I don't know if you could tell, but I really went all in with the cyber themes today. This outfit's giving spaceman, it's giving... It's very... I don't know if you could tell, but these sleeves are very loud. I hope they're not too distracting. As alluded to before, CY8ER debuted in 2015, but in a different form. Before CY8ER, there was BPM ichigo, an idol duo consisting of the members Ichigo rinahamu and nicamoq. Rinahamu is a Japanese idol, DJ, and producer, born on April 11, 1992, and has been active since December 10, 2010 under the name Yokoyama Rina, when she became a founding member of the infamous alternative idol group Brand New Idol Society, or BIS. I won't go into them here since I plan on making a whole separate video about BIS in the future, but just know that they are known for doing a lot of crazy and controversial things and fit more into the genre of anti-idols, or idols that go against the cutesy and demure image of more mainstream idols.
See how I do my makeup for work? Very demure, very mindful.
And that was the reason why rinahamu left the group. She was only a member for less than a year and graduated on June 24th, 2011, due to creative differences with the group and not being comfortable with their ever-increasing shenanigans. In late 2012, she formed and produced the idol group Akishibu Project, and officially debuted alongside the rest of the group as a member in 2013. She then graduated and stepped down as their producer in 2014. For a time, she continued her music career as a solo endeavor, with some collaborations with other idols here and there. That year, on September 15th, she released her self-titled solo debut EP, and pretty much threatened that she would retire from being an idol if it sold less than 5,000 copies within 4 months. Which honestly, I don't blame her. She had been giving this idol thing a go for years at that point and hadn't seen huge amounts of success from it yet. So this was just her giving her last shot at it before moving on to something else. But thankfully, she's still continuing her music career, so that means it worked. In 2015, she founded her own label called Ichigo Style, and formed groups such as Doping Berry and Strawberry Syndrome, but neither lasted very long and were not successful. Again in 2015, rinahamu formed the Yume Kawaii new age pop duo BPM ichigo with nicamoq, and music produced by frequent collaborator Yunomi. Yunomi has worked with both rinahamu and nicamoq separately multiple times, so they were all bound to meet each other and collaborate together at some point. As for nicamoq, real name Morisaki Furuka, an Aquarius, born on February 2nd, she doesn't have a long-running music career before BPM 15Q like how rinahamu does. She started uploading tracks onto SoundCloud in 2015 and featured on other artists' songs like Yunomi. In 2017, she joined the Miss ID competition. I hope I'm making a whole video on Miss ID since it's such a huge contest that spans many years and has propelled so many other idols into the mainstream, but the basic gist of it is that Miss ID is a contest held by famous publisher Kodansha that seeks to find diverse new female talents. Nicamoq is also currently in training to be a voice actress, or seiyu as they're called in Japan. BPM Ichigo Q only released one full album during this time, titled BPM Ichigo Q. They were short-lived as nicamoq left the group in 2016, leaving rinahamu as the only active member. That was until rinahamu opened auditions that recruited two new members, 𝒕𝒂𝒈𝒔 and Suzukawa Mashido. 𝒕𝒂𝒈𝒔, Scorpio, born on November 1st, 1993, is a DJ, YouTuber, and model who is also a member of the DJ unit Kunyan. Her member color is yellow. Mashido, born on October 17th, 1989, and a Libra, has quite the extensive idol repertoire. She was first a member of the idol group Iketeru Hearts in 2014, but left shortly after to join another idol group, Deep Girl, a rock idol group known for their lyrics containing dark and, for lack of a better word, deep themes. Ah, see what I did there? Thank you, thank you. I'll be her all night, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
She is also a rapper and works on her solo project as Shachi. Her member color is pink. And with this new lineup came a new name, Cyber. Together as three, they released two singles, Remix Start and 𝒕𝒂𝒕𝒆𝒔. Shortly after, this new lineup would undergo yet another change with the addition of three new members on May 4th, 2017. Those being 𝒕�𝒈𝒔, Fujishiro Anna, and 𝑪𝒉𝑬𝑫. 𝒕�𝒈𝒔 was born on September 8th, 1995, making her a Virgo and the youngest member. There's not much known about 𝒂𝒈𝒔 both before and after Cyber. Like, I'm talking absolutely nothing. This girl is a ghost. All she has is her Twitter and a blog, but the website doesn't even work anymore, so it can't be viewed. She does have a YouTube, but hasn't posted in 3 years. I even tried looking through Japanese sources and still came up short. But from what I could gather, she has a dog and has done some modeling for ACDC Rag. Her member color is red. Fujishiro Anna, born on June 22nd, is yet another member with a sizable idol history. Her first venture onto the scene was as a member of the alt-idol group Bell Ring Shoujo Heart in 2015, but suddenly withdrew just a few months later. In 2016, she became a founding member of the short-lived idol group Ice Cream Suicide. Anna withdrew from Ice Cream Suicide in 2017 due to conflicts with the management that got so bad she had to get a lawyer involved to release her from contract. What? Yeah, I'm not doing that again. After this whole debacle, however, Anna was freed of her contract and went on to join Cyber. She also works as a model and has her own clothing brand. She's half Japanese and half Polish, which makes for her striking appearance and height, towering over her other members at 5 feet 7 inches tall, which I know in most parts of the world isn't particularly gargantuan. But when compared to the rest of Cyber, where the average height is 5 feet on a good day, the difference in photos is quite stark. Her voice also stands out a lot compared to the other members, as it's not the traditional kawaii idol voice, but is instead very natural sounding, calming, and clear, with a deep undertone that I think cuts through the other vocals very nicely. Her member color is green. And lastly, 𝑪𝒉𝑬𝑫𝑰𝑚 was born on April 25th, 1986, which makes her a Taurus and the oldest member of Cyber. Before the group, she was a contestant in Miss ID 2017 and went a bit viral with her little impromptu cover of Creep by Radiohead. Her member color is purple. The first single they released as 6 was titled Kakushimu. With the advent of this new 6-member lineup, Cyber saw themselves go a bit viral after their interesting way of conducting handshake events. For those who don't know, handshake events are a common occurrence in Japanese idol culture and involve fans being able to meet, speak briefly with, and as the name suggests, shake hands with their idols. Cyber went about this a little bit differently, and instead of a handshake event, they advertised a hugging event and showed up to the venue in full hazmat gear, complete with safety goggles and medical-grade face masks, presumably to protect themselves from the germs of their fans. I think these sorts of shenanigans were residual from Rinahamu's time in BIS, and prove that she was indeed still a little silly. They also had their very first 6-member tour that year titled Cyber Lucid Dreaming Tour. Granted, it was a pretty small tour, only consisting of 3 venues, but this was still a big step up and was a sign that Cyber was quickly growing in popularity. CY8ER's first full album, titled Hello New Generation, released on January 31st, 2018. Some of those songs were originally _BPM15Q songs. Hardcore BPM Ichigo Q fans were not happy with CY8ER covering those songs and having them be a part of their official discography. To this day, you can find people leaving comments on their music videos and official audio uploads on YouTube, saying that they like the BPM15Q version better and that it's just not the same. Personally, I like both versions, but if I were around during BPM15Q's replacement, so to speak, I probably would have been a bit salty too. On March 5th, 2018, member Natan Kodomushi was announced to be leaving the group. A statement from the official CY8ER website read, "We have talked to Kodomushi about her future over and over, but when the circumstances continue, judging that the group will be struggling to continue as a group, Natan Kodomushi will be withdrawing today. We are hoping that you can understand the situation. It is a bitter judgment as a result of repeated consultations for several months between the manager, the staffs, and the members." This would be CY8ER's final lineup change, and their first digital single as a 5-piece, titled Bye Bye, was released on July 28th. CY8ER has also dabbled in the world of fashion, with the first instance being in 2018, where they modeled and promoted the clothing brand Galaxy until 2019. In 2019, CY8ER held their first and only performance in the United States as part of the Honolulu Rainbow Ekiden that year in Honolulu, Hawaii. In February of that same year, CY8ER announced that they would be releasing 3 singles in the span of 3 months. Each album consisted of the A-side song and 1 or 2 other B-side tracks, those being Dead Boy Dead Girl, Time Trip, and Summer/Sayonara Flashback. Later in October, CY8ER held an emergency live, where they announced that they would be making their major label debut under Victor Entertainment and would release their first major label album in 2020. Before this, CY8ER were still being managed by rinahamu's label, Ichigo Style, so to be picked up by a major music label was just even more confirmation that they were truly making it in the world of idols. CY8ER's first and only major label studio album, titled Tokyo, was released on January 22nd, 2020. This album still felt very CY8ER, but with some evolutions to their sound, as they collaborated with a greater variety of producers apart from Yunomi, such as Moe Shop, Kotono House, Neko Hacker, and most famously, Yasutaka Nakata, the producer of Capsule and frequent collaborator of J-pop megastar Kyary 𝑪𝒉𝒂𝒑𝒕𝒆𝒔. To accompany the release, CY8ER launched their fashion brand, CY8ER Tokyo, and released futuristic jackets with accents of each respective member's colors. As you can probably remember, 2020 was the absolute worst time in history to be an idol, since a big part of the job is to perform live and interact with fans. However, I don't think this is the sole reason for what would happen next. On July 28th, 2020, CY8ER had a livestream on their official YouTube channel that was them performing just about every song of theirs. However, this was not just for fun and to give fans content during such a difficult time. At the end of the stream, rinahamu announced that CY8ER would be disbanding in 2021 after their final performance at the Nippon Budokan, one of Japan's most prestigious arenas. 2020 also saw the release of their best of album, titled CY8ER, that contained all of their songs and 1 new song, titled Toki wo Tomete. And then the day came. CY8ER held their incredible career-spanning last live, titled CY8ER Nari no Yokohama Arena at Nippon Budokan. This name actually contains a reference to �ＢIS, which, if you would remember, was rinahamu's very first idol group. The first generation of �ＢIS disbanded at a concert named �ＢIS Nari no Budokan at Yokohama Arena, which rinahamu performed at despite it being years since she left the group. I thought it was a nice touch. At this last live, CY8ER also released and sold copies of the final single of their careers, titled End Roll. And with that marks the end of CY8ER. On the 1-year anniversary of the disbandment concert, the full performance was posted onto the official CY8ER YouTube channel and can still be viewed to this day. I remember they actually streamed the first few minutes of their last live for free on the day of, but because we're in such different time zones, I stayed up until like 3 in the morning to watch it. I became a fan in 2020, so I pretty much missed their entire career, and even then I was so distraught when I found out they were disbanding. And it still hurts, all these years later. The only natural way to end off this video is by answering the question of where they are now. What has everyone in CY8ER been doing since 2021? Well, starting with rinahamu and nicamoq, in 2022, to everyone's and my surprise, they reunited and brought BPM Ichigo Q back together. They now make new music and tour and perform live. Rinahamu also formed a new idol group named Homura in 2021 and was their producer until their disbandment in 2022. In 2023, rinahamu collaborated with the Japanese multimedia project Denonbu and formed the virtual idol group Tokyo Denno, where she voices the character I still said it wrong. And former Cyber member Yami is also a part of this project and voices Yunomi Rain. Mashido continues to make music. Anna is also a girl mom and continues to model and manage her clothing brand Juan, and is actively in the band she started in 2021 named Wachowski as the keyboardist and main vocalist, and as part of the acoustic idol group named Pocos. In conclusion, Cyber is one of my favorite idol groups and holds a special place in my heart. While my time with them was short, it was definitely worthwhile, and their music and performances kept me company during the pandemic. If you like what you saw and heard throughout this video, I highly suggest you go check out their music and videos. It's all on streaming and on YouTube. And if you can still support Cyber by buying their CDs and DVDs either through official sources like Amazon or Tower Records, or even secondhand. If you liked this video essay style on how I did it and would like to see more, leave a like and comment and all of that good stuff. That is the end of this video. I'm CY8ER, and I hope you have a nice day. Bye bye! Ooh, this jacket's so loud, can you hear it?